All right, my friends, part two of fixed indexed annuities versus S&P 500 versus 20-year treasuries. We're going to do this part two, and we're going to start in 2000. The reason we're starting in 2000 because that's when the markets took a tumble big time, and so we're going to start to identify the sequence of return risks and see if the fixed income annuities would have given us a reprieve or see what we're showing here. Now, again, I'm just running these numbers for the first time. I'm using a Pacific Life fixed index annuity, a Pacific Life one. Now, this was not available that I'm aware of in 2000. So I don't know if it's, I don't know. I'm just literally, you can't see it, but I'm literally looking at my the brochure from the Pacific Life indexed annuities. They have a 5% cap. It's price to price. They don't use dividends. So I'm just using that. I'm extrapolating that into 2000 till the end of 2017 returns. I'm using a 20-year Treasury bond as of January 2000 as well, but we'll also give the fixed index annuity the benefit of doubt by throwing the 20-year Treasury bond from today's yields too. So we're going to start with a 20-year from 2000, January 2000. We're going to start with the index, the S&P 500, reinvesting dividends, and then we're going to look at the fixed index annuity as well, and we'll see what we come up with. You can see, again, more wonderful color coordination. If you're colorblind, this might not make sense. So you got to listen well because I'm going to explain to everything that's on this chart behind me. So welcome to Heritage Wealth Planning. Subscribe, my friends. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, comments and thumbs up help me immensely. So let's dive right into this. If you didn't see the first episode, go back to get the beginning because I did 20 years. All right, 20 years from the end of beginning of 1998 to the end of 2017. And I forgot exactly what the numbers were, but whatever. The numbers were incredible in favor of the S&P 500. Well, because the first 2 years we got good market performance. We do have a lot of concerns about sequence of return risk. If you retired on 1 January 2000, you're in a world of hurt because the next 3 years was down 9, 11, and 22% respectively. So we're going to show that here today. All right, so here we go. We got the S&P 500 is green. We got the fixed annuity, and I can even read that. Index annuity is in orange. We're going to show you the returns. Then we're going to show you the numbers. The purple is the S&P 500. The fixed annuity is the orange. Then I got the 20-year Treasury up here. All right, so the red is what is down markets. The green is up markets. Pretty boilerplate stuff there, right? All right, so the S&P, actually, it's not really green. I guess it is if it's green there. All right, so the S&P 500. When the markets are down, the S&P 500 got crushed. So we start with $100,000. Probably should write that up there. Hold on just a second. My trusty, we'll use, what's this, blue. 100,000 schmackes. That's what we're starting with. All right, so we start with $100,000. The next 3 years, the S&P 500 got hammered. So you're down to 62,185 because the markets declined significantly. In your fixed index annuity, though, you're at $100,000. So you're like, hey, told you stupid stockbrokers, I'm an insurance guy. You guys think I'm the best. Yeah, I get $100,000, you got 62,000. Yeah, but you're still not getting access to that cash without a significant surrender charge, FYI. But you still got 38,000 more than I have. So in that regard, you're like, yeah, man, you're looking good. Next year, the market was up big time. The cap on the Pacific Life one is 5%. It will not give you more than 5. It will give you 0, won't give you less than 0. Is that right? Yeah. So you'll never lose money, but you'll never make more than 5. So in this case, we are still underwater relative to the index annuity until year 7, 2007. We only have 113,000. The index annuity has 125, and then it's going to go even worse. In year 8, we're down to 71,000 in the index annuities at 125. Because remember, when the market goes from a 0, so here we only got 5% because that's a cap. Actually, it should be a little bit less than that because we aren't including dividends, but that's all right. I mean, let's just say it's 3%. Won't be a huge difference. I've given a little bit up more than it really is, but roughly 5. Just use that 5%. It doesn't matter. So here we're at 125 at the end of 2007. We started with $100,000, 7 years, 8 years has transpired. We're at 125. The S&P 500 is at 113. So in this case, you're 11 life in the index annuity relative to the S&P 500. 125. But now the following year, 0. The markets gave us a 0%, it was a down negative return. So we have 37.22 was a down in 2008. But the fixed annuity didn't go down at all because it has a zero guarantee. So in this case, we stayed at 125, 197, but the S&P 500 went down from 113 to 71. We got crunched. We got crunched for lunch. No other way around that. Look at that. We are down to 71,000, where the index annuity is almost, pretty close, almost double that. Not quite double, but was 70% higher. So now the market's going back up. We're back up to 90. The annuity gets to 5%. So 27% is what the markets gave us, put us back to $90,000, but the annuity still gave 5%. It doesn't get the full upside. It only gets 5, but we're still way ahead. And then the 2000, here's the first one where I actually took out the dividends. I should have took it out there. The dividends, the total market return in 2011 was 2.07. Factor out the dividend, which is 2.06. And the index annuity gave us a 0.1%. So basically only made $120 or something like that. But anyway, so we're back up to 106. The annuity is 138. The annuity is 145, and you can see right here is when finally it changes. So right here, after a 32% up in 2013, we finally get above the annuity for the first time. So finally do we get above the annuity. So we start at 123, had a great year, 32% in 2013. So we go from 123 to 162. The annuity, because it is capped at 5, goes from 145 to 152. So we finally take over, and if you keep going down the following, but it took, for that to happen, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years for this to transpire. Now, in the following years, though, we now have, because the annuity is capped at 5, and again, the dividends right here, 1.31, doesn't give us any return on the annuity because it's all dividends. They weren't making any money. So they are, in this case, when the markets are up, we're at 256, and the fixed index annuity was at 176. So up market, we're up significantly. Down market, the annuity was up significantly. No two ways around that. I'm just curious. Let's try something for giggles here. What if we have a 30% decline? We'll just say 2018. Just bear with me just a second. We're going to say 2018 minus 30%, and this would be down to 0. So we know this would be 176,341. What would 30% decline from 256,349 minus 30%? We'd be down to 179. So if we had a 30% decline here, we're basically breaking even. All right, you probably can't see that very well. Let me just change that 179K. I hope you can read that. But anyway, all I'm saying here is if we were in a, now that's not going to happen this year, but because this year's already done, but if we were in a free fall, pretty significant proportions of 2018, the annuity would not go down, wouldn't go up, and we would go down from 256 to 179. So there's a synopsis. So one bad year puts us right back even. Right? That's for sure. One bad year puts us right back even. And so you can see, in this case, the annuity actually held its own pretty well when we had these 3 back-to-back-to-back years. So if the down market is a concern, the annuity is where it makes its money. There's no two ways around that. The question is it the best thing for protection in a down market? And the answer is no. So let me show you. Here's a 20-year Treasury bond. Back then in January 2000, it was paying 6.86%. That was a yield. So you can lock in your money in January of 2000 and get $6,860 a year with no risk, completely risk-free. And if you held it for 20 years, you get $100,000 in principal. So to give an example, let's take a look here. I get my trusty, what did I do with my black right here? Okay, cool. All right, so let's just go. We'll run some numbers here. In 2007, the annuity was still above our portfolio of the S&P 500. You might think I'm rooting for the S&P 500. Without question, I am. But the numbers are the numbers. So in 2007, we were still 13,000 below the annuity. That's just a fact. Now, again, this is before surrender charges or anything like that. And I don't know, it's just you name it. But so you don't have access to that money so much. But that's what I'm just using here. So let's see, 20 years. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 years times 6,860. We have in this case the 20 year equals $154,880 because we've made $54,000 of interest at that point, plus we have $100,000 in our principal because our principal is guaranteed. So in this case, we have $100,000 of principal plus $54,000, almost $55,000 of interest. So the annuity is well below the 20 year, and the S&P 500 is well below the 20 year as well, which is also below the annuity. All right, so now let's go up here, and we'll say what's the one I want to look at right here? 2013. So what do you have? 8 years. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we got 14 years. I don't know if I want to do this. 14 times 6860. All right, so let's do this. 6860 times 14. We got $96,000 of interest plus $100,000 of principal equals 196. I know it's tough to read, but anyway, so where I say 2013, yeah, right here. So here, I mean, wow. Here, the 20-year Treasury did better than the S&P 500, and it did better than the annuity again. That's pretty interesting. Am I missing something here? No, I don't think I'm missing anything. No, I'm not, because now you're not. Remember, on bonds, they're not being compounded because you're not reinvesting the interest. But I'm not reinvesting. I'm just using a straight interest. The 10-year, 20-year Treasury in 2000 was paying 6.86%. That was the yield, which meant for every $100,000 you put in there, you got $6,860 in interest. And if we did it for 8 years, that's the interest we got, $54,880 plus the principal, because the principal will come back to us. If we did it for 14 years, we got $96,040 of interest plus the $100,000 principal, because the principal is guaranteed to come back to us. That's interesting. And then if we go to 2017, the 10-year Treasury, 20-year Treasury, I keep saying 10, but it's 20, is worth $223,000 when you factor in the principal plus the interest that has already accumulated, because we've got, 18 years of $6,860 times 18. It gives us 100, because that's what it is. There you go, man. I mean, 6,800, just 6,860 times 18. That's $123,000. $123,480 plus the principal right there. Well, that's nuts. And so basically we have $223,000 in that portfolio at the end of 2017, which dwarfs the index annuity and is within spitting distance of the S&P 500. And this all down markets, by the way. And then in 2018, if we have a market sell-off, the S&P 500 is at 179, the annuity is at 176, and that will be 223 minus, or I should say, it would be 223. Oh wait, is that what it is? After 20, after 20 years, after 223,480, after 18 years plus 6,860, it'd be worth 2,030. Well, you're not gonna be able to see that well. 340. Well, that's crazy. So after 20 years times 6,860, the annuity, the bond would have paid us $137,000 of interest plus $100,000 of principal back. So it'd be worth $237,000. One more year for maturity, which would be the end of 2018 if we had that calamity of a 30% decline. The numbers are the numbers, without question. That's the numbers. I'm actually quite amazed how well the bond held up relative to the S&P 500. That's interesting to me. So anyway, at the end of the day, $100,000 invested in the S&P 500, $100,000 invested in the fixed annuity, index annuity, $100,000 invested in a 20-year Treasury bond. At the end of 2017, given the calamity of 2001 and 2, the S&P 500 is worth $256,000, the annuity is worth $176,000, and the 20-year Treasury is worth $223,000. And that's all there is to it. And the 10-year Treasury, or the 20-year Treasury, never once had a down year, ever. The S&P 500 had lots of down years. The annuity never once had a down year either, because the annuity is only capped at 5%, it didn't give us anywhere near the yield as the bond did. Now I'm wondering if we would have done this, and maybe I'll do this in another episode because it's already going long. The 20-year right now is paying, today the 20-year is, well, we can actually do this real quick, is paying 2.96. 2.96. So let's just do something here. Let me get my trusty. So 20-year is paying 2.96. So I just want to try to be fair because I don't even know if it's fair, but I'm just giving the annuity the benefit of the doubt. 2.96 is what the 20-year is doing right now. So let's try something else. So if you have a 20-year bond, 20-year, 2.96%, that's how much money we're going to get each and every year in interest. All right, so then we're going to get $100,000 back times 18 equals, so we're going to have 2.96 times 18. We'll have, 2960 times 18, 53,000. So in that case, the bond plus 53 odd dollars, I'm just rounding up, is 153,000 after 18 years. So the bond at 2.96, my friends, would be worth 153. The annuity's worth 176, and the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is worth 256. The following year, if the S&P 500 falls off a cliff, it's worth 179. Add 2960 to that, and we're gonna get 960, 155, 960. The S&P 500 is worth 179. The annuity is still worth 176, and we're still at 155, 960 without any risk at all. And that's literally I'm trying to be fair, but at the end of the day, if you're only getting 2.96 on a 20-year Treasury, you weren't getting 2.96 back then. You were getting 6.86. And so, I mean, 2.96 is today, right? I mean, so, I don't know. You got to maybe split the difference and say to give you 4, because, about 4.5. Because, 3%, roughly 7, split the difference, say 4.5%. That's probably what you should look at to make it even more fair. But I tell you, man, that opens up my eyes a little bit, actually, for the benefits of the Treasury bonds when it comes to risk protection. I'll have to talk on that. We'll have to chomp on that here. I got a call to make here for a client. I'm going to come back to this here in a few minutes when I'm done with that, and just kind of give you my thoughts on this and how we can use the S&P 500 index combined with a Treasury bond to give us the life boat or the life preserver we need when times get bad, and then give us the growth we need when times get good. The fixed annuity is the worst of both worlds. And I'm not saying it's evil, I mean, for heaven's sake, but when the markets are up, it doesn't do it as well, and the markets are down, it doesn't do it as well either. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to. I don't have an analogy off the top of my head. I'm sure I can think of one to show you how witty I am when this is done, but the markets are up, you want stocks. Markets are down, you want government bonds. The markets are up, the fixed annuity will give you underwhelming performance. The markets are down, it'll underwhelm there, but it will protect you. So I'm wondering if we can split the difference here and do 50-50. I'm going to do that next. That's what I'm going to do next time. We'll do 50-50 and see what it looks like. That'll be pretty interesting. All right, hang in there. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys.